My mom wouldn't care. She'd just be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Then don't charge $9 for sweet tart." That's what I said, Mom. I know. You heard it from me.
I'm not going to follow your rule if it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
That's just crazy.
Why, hello there, freak. So glad you could join us. Time to listen in on another seriously silly conversation with Gretchen and the Lukes.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What do you think of my hairstyle? Well, okay, fair enough.
You are really getting better at that. Like, it's like exposure therapy, having somebody laugh at something that could be vulnerable.
It's not.
And
It
just
feels
working through
good.
it.
It's fun to have fun with my follicle situation.
I wonder if having the ability to access a laugh track could be utilized in like a therapeutic way.
Ooh, that would be good.
Where like the things that you are in, maybe it terrified somebody might laugh at about you, or things you might feel embarrassed about. Side note, I'm not saying you should feel embarrassed about your hair or your shaved head.
Are you sure? No one asked you people. No one asked you people.
I mean, because it does nothing about it looks funny.
Well, listen, it would help if those people weren't laughing every time you made a point about my handsome head. Yeah, I haven't been insecure about my hair since about 20 years ago when I got married. I figured that was the end of me caring about whether because people can make fun of it now. Women can choose to not date me, but now I can say, well, that's because I'm married. But there's nothing funny about that. That's true. That's why I can easily shoot them down because do you see this ring on my middle finger? On your middle finger? Yeah, I put it there to say, fuck you, I'm married. Plus it slides off my ring finger, so.
That's funny. Your ring's the opposite of mine. Mine's stuck on my ring finger.
Hell yeah, I designed it that way.
Oh, right. Yes.
I got the measurement of your finger, and I went to the jeweler and I said, give this to me 1/8 of an inch smaller than this. Something, here's the size of her knuckle, make it just smaller than that. And then
it'll slide on easily. The excitement of the day, but then when you sleep and the blood flows to the extremities, locked in for life.
Locked. You're mine. You can't get away. Well, you can, but you'll have a ring that reminds you of me wherever you go.
And even with all the things available in this modern age, it feels way complicated of like, oh yeah, do I need to get it sized? What is that? Where do I do that? Do they got to take it off, cut it off? Someone cut my finger off when I'm dead and take it off. That's what I did with my pawpaw's ring.
Oh, is that how it went?
I don't mean to be all weird and just jump into like
you cut his
dead
finger
ring
off?
on a corpse story. But yeah, when my grandfather died, my pawpaw, which would be my father's father, he, I guess his wedding ring had been stuck on his finger for decades, much like me.
Wait, so they cut his finger off?
Yes, so that they could take the wedding band off. Because a bit of a tradition, or I don't know, where my granny wanted to give my father that gold band.
I'm
don't
just
know.
Shocked.
Yeah.
I thought.
I mean, after the viewing and the funeral and everything.
Okay, but still,
I know,
they took
right?
a dead corpse and they cut off its finger to take the ring off of it, even though it wasn't like robbing a grave to get a ring for yourself off of somebody who where you're stealing it, but but that just seems odd that they're cutting off his finger to get the ring.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I mean, or is it? If you're gonna go through and have a funeral, I was gonna say They cut everything open anyway to do all the clothes
I don't know
on
why
and makeup because it's shocking. It shocked me too when I first heard about it.
Well, just 1 second, ma'am. Oh, hold on a second. We hit the bone. Snap. Here it is. Ding, 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 ding. I put it in a jar for you.
So I don't know. What did they put? I don't know if they just lay the finger. I don't know because no one ever sees then the body after that.
That's true. Was he cremated or was he buried?
Buried.
So he's buried with his finger disjointed. So his ghost has a missing finger, a missing ring finger.
I guess so.
That's weird.
I hope it's not insensitive. Well, you know what? It is not.
Go
not
over there. Over where? I'm over there where I'm pointing with my ring finger.
I don't want anybody who what if anybody from my family ever might hear this?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well,
I mean, I'm just kind of an estranged weirdo in some ways, so I don't know if anybody knows what I'm doing or not. But,
so you're
but I
assuming
guess
this,
I'm saying, what?
I was going to say, this is good news. You're assuming someone's going to be listening to these? Yes! Yes! Hello, family. Thank you for supporting us. We love...
And then I should just say, and I would say this...
But they would say this,
if
too.
This was a story that I was telling about anybody, would say this has absolutely no disrespect to my grandfather, my grandmother.
Of course not. No.
Wait, I got to finish my disclaimer.
Please
my granny,
disclaim.
my papa, or anyone else in my family. This is just more a joke about the situations in life that are awkward, and we always try to find the humor in. So, I love all of y'all, and no harm. And I especially love
Dear
my papa.
Gretchen,
I really
I
loved
heard
him.
your recent episode of Conversations, and I thought this was ridiculous. I'm typing to you with 9 fingers to show you that it's possible.
Disrespectful. I'm talking to me. I'm saying.
You are disrespectful to the family, and you are no longer part of our group.
So, but you... So, back to your hair and the laughing.
You know what I should have done?
I know you're pretty confident.
When my grandfather died, we should have cut his hair off and used it as my wig.
Now you're thinking.
See, now we got to think like what because you figure they do that in the military when you need weapons and stuff. When someone goes down, you take all their stuff that's not going to be used anymore. So I figure, why not do that with other people now? Okay, this is something to think about.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Ooh. Thinking. All right.
Too much thinking.
Luke's, man, I want to ask you this question that I was asked earlier today. And so I was asked, I asked myself this question earlier today, just being full disclosure. I realized the way I said that, it sounded as if I was having a conversation with someone and someone might have asked me this question.
Oh, you're like as if you were making up you're like, hello, Gretchen. Yes, Gretchen. I have a question for you. Well, go ahead. Maybe we'll use it for the show today. Well, maybe we might. Well, we could tell them that it was someone else that asked you. No, why would I do that? Because you don't want people to think that you're talking to yourself. No, of course I wouldn't want that. But they wouldn't assume that. Well, who were you going to say asked the question? Just a random person, like you were just going down the street. Yes, people ask me questions all the time. There's nothing wrong with this.
Right. I have a gnome that lives in my yard. He's very, very curious, a curious journalist to report back to the gnome world. He often pops out in my driveway
Mrs. Lucas,
hey,
question.
I was just wondering.
We've got a question for you.
Have you got a minute? I was
Do you
just
have a minute?
wondering. I just had a bit of a pondering.
Pondering. What you have for dinner last night, did you?
Trying to understand the humans. So as I was just asking myself if I am a rule follower.
Oh, you were wondering if you follow rules?
Yeah, well, first
No.
I was thinking, am I a
for
law-abiding
you.
citizen? Wait.
No, that's
How
easy.
Can you answer that so
Next
fast?
topic. You don't follow rules. You're a rule breaker. You're outside the box thinker.
Well, so maybe because the first question was, am I a law-abiding citizen?
Well, yes,
Now,
that I would
throughout
say
time,
yes.
that has fluctuated. But in this moment, I'm a law-abiding citizen.
We were young once, of course, and we did things that we regret. But ever since we were married, we've been law-abiding citizens because we don't want our children taken away from us. It has nothing to do with the law. It has nothing to do with agreeing with how things are made up in this country, because we disagree with a lot of stuff, but we don't want our children taken away, so we don't do things that break the law. And if we do, we're very sneaky about it.
So more protectively compliant.
Like when I steal those jewels and art from those really rich houses in here in Dallas, and as what I like to call the cat burglar disguise I use. I always use a disguise. I don't go in there as Mike Lucas, Mike Burglar. I go in there as cat burglar.
I'm just imagining you as trying to pull off a cat burglary because you are very large.
Oh, God, sorry.
13 feet, 6'4", little bit clumsy.
A little bit.
And ankles that can roll.
I'll roll. I've had a walnut take me down.
Yep. I can imagine. I mean, unless somebody's house is impeccable.
Right. Who left
like
this out? Who left this out? How did you catch the burglar? We left a walnut in the living room and it toppled him. I have no cartilage in my right leg, my right ankle from playing basketball. At least that's what I tell people. It's mostly from falling.
Taken down by a discarded sandal Thank you, wife. Finally, I'm okay with the girls in the house leaving their shoes everywhere.
Oh, it's funny. Like you don't need a gun in the house if Mike Lucas comes to rob you. You just need stuff on the floor.
Yeah, just a mini obstacle course.
Keep it dark.
It doesn't have to be big. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Oh, I fall hard.
That is true.
I'm huge.
That is a bummer.
Well,
this whole line of questioning, or this gnome interrogation that I had to endure this morning.
Go on. I'm listening.
Is because I was watching this. Here's this little short clip of a guy who, let's just say, is my movie hero, is the first thing I thought. A movie-going hero.
okay.
Everybody got their shoes on?
Is that a rotisserie chicken in your hand?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my protein. I ain't eating all that junk at the movies.
So you're gonna.
Now, so this is a man and his wife.
Okay, let me just see if I
Okay.
can guess what this is.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned movies.
Yeah.
So is this a man who is trying to take a rotisserie chicken into a movie theater?
Boom!
Yes.
Check this out.
I love this guy.
So
I love this guy.
him and his
Well,
wife and his 2 kids.
well, y'all don't serve chicken here, do you? Then what do you care?
Everybody got their shoes on?
Is that a rotisserie chicken in your hand?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my protein. I ain't eating all that junk at the movies.
So you're gonna bring a whole rotisserie chicken,
Technically, I'm not bringing it. I'm making the baby bring it.
and she doing it for
He's putting
free?
in their daughter's backpack.
I'll get you a can.
She gets candy.
Dad, your chicken good? You gotta check that.
They walk into the theater.
Now, who was the first woman who was questioning them?
His wife.
Oh.
So she's like filming. It's a man, his wife, and their 2 daughters. They're
Okay.
going to go to the movies today. So the wife is the one making the
Oh
video.
my God. Do you see what I put up with?
And they're heading out
I'll
the
bet
door.
you she eats some of that chicken, though, once it's in there.
Well, funny you should say that, because then once he's convinced her to try it on the nachos, they end up at putting the chicken on their nachos, and they said they're pretty fire.
Did they buy the nachos, or did
Yeah.
they bring those in?
No, they bought the
Right, so
nachos.
they're spending money. They
And-
bought tickets for the movie. They bought nachos. Give me a break. They're
Yeah,
bringing.
they had sodas, other things. Even
Do y'all have
know.
chicken to put on my nachos? You don't? Well, then shut up.
And when this guy leaves, the wife is like, "Wait, are you?" He's just carrying the bag of chicken just out in the open now, because like, what are you gonna do now?
What are you
But
gonna do now?
but there was still some chicken left. He was like, "I'm not gonna waste it."
Oh, I
And
love this guy.
I loved this guy too. At first, I was like, "Yes, whoa, way to because I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why that made me so excited. I just thought that's my movie
Well,
hero, and then
well-
I thought, wait, is that a law? Then that's when I said to myself, I don't think that's a law. That's more like a rule
That's a
or
policy.
violation. Am I
That's
a
a
policy
policy.
breaker or a law breaker? So that's why I wanted to ask you about this.
Oh, I don't think that's well, here's the thing. When you overcharge so much for things at the movie theater, you're just inviting people to bring their own stuff in. When I go to the movies, I go to, first of all, to CVS or Walgreens or Target, and I buy bulk candy and put them in my backpack. Why do I bring a backpack to the movie theater? Am I going to do homework in between the features? Am I going to?
Have you ever been asked about a backpack?
No.
Because I was wondering if they have, if you.
These are like teenagers working behind the counter. They're just
Yeah,
like,
that's so true.
They
I
don't
gotta
give a
read-
shit. They're just like, God, just go in there. Except for the one nerd. There's always one nerd. Excuse me, I'm going to need to search that bag, please.
Oh man.
Over my dead body. Sir, that can be arranged. I smell chicken. I smell rotisserie chicken. We've already dealt with this so many times. Look, we're going to get a rotisserie chicken maker for our nachos. I promise you that. But right now, we have to go chickenless nachos. That's just the way it has to be in the theater. If we let you in, you're going to leave your bones sitting on the floor next to the empty popcorn container, right? That's what they're probably worried about.
Yeah, true. You've got to, out of coolness to everyone who's trying to sneak in snacks to the movie theater, you've got to make sure you clean up after yourself. You can't leave snacks that they don't sell there.
Okay, that's a good topic. Anyways, like,
First of all,
are we
okay with sneaking in snacks?
Well, that's one topic. But then the other one is, are we okay with just littering on the floor of the movie theater? Have you ever watched?
I'm not okay with it.
And that's not the rule. The rule isn't, hey, everyone, throw your shit on the floor when you're done with it because we'll clean it up. Because if you go to what was the Ground Round? At Ground Round, that was a restaurant that I grew up going to, and you could open up your peanut shells onto the floor, and they encouraged
right.
that. That was part of the fun. They said, don't worry, we hire people to clean that up. Just rip at it, go for it. And they give you a big basket of peanuts, and you're a kid, you throw them on the floor, and it was great. But they told you that was okay. No one says that at the movie theater. Hey, listen, don't worry, I'm going to get all that stuff for you afterwards.
I wonder though if this ground round place that you speak of,
Right.
this peanut, like laissez-faire
it's a-
peanut littering place that you
Laissez-faire
frequented.
peanut place. Yeah, that's in their marketing for sure. That's come to the ground round, a laissez-faire peanut
Peanut
place.
place.
Y'all can just crunch your stuff and throw it on the floor. We'll get it.
Yeah.
We don't mind. We'll get it. Crunch, crunch, crunch. What's that? The
Well-
sound of money.
It does make me wonder though if maybe a place like that is what led to this mindset that is so crazy to me. Whenever if you were to say to somebody about don't leave your trash or don't litter, or when people litter and you might ask them why, the idea, when people say, I'm making a job. Otherwise, they
Oh,
wouldn't
I
have to
hate
hire
that.
anybody to come in here and sweep through in between shows. I am literally providing employment.
Talk about gaslighting. That's
Like-
that's the ultimate definition of it.
That is such
What?
a crazy
I'm not a litterer.
excuse.
I'm a job provider. Oh, fuck off.
Right? That's what I say whenever I was shoplift. If I get busted, I'd be like, hey, if I wasn't up here, up to no good
You
out
security
here.
people wouldn't.
Nobody would have a job. You wouldn't need your fancy systems. You wouldn't need your dude to follow me.
You wouldn't need a
walking
jail.
me.
You wouldn't need
to
those
call the
cuffs that you
coppers.
just put on my wrists.
I mean, come on, people. How
was
many people can I support with my bizarre, negligent criminal behavior? It became too stressful, and I went
right.
straight.
Yeah, well, that's good for you because it's not your job to make jobs for everyone else.
I
and
can't carry all those
You
industries
can't.
on,
Why-
on my back.
It's too
Are you
much.
kidding me?
It's too much.
I got that gnome in my face every day, demanding answers, saying he's
Mrs.
curious,
Lucas,
but
Mrs.
I
Lucas,
feel interrogated.
Tell us about that contact lens solution that you took. Was it just for the $9.25, or did you have the money in your purse?
that guy, ultimate surveiller, because how does he always know where I'm at?
He's a
and what I'm up
gnome.
to?
That's what gnomes do. The gnomes are in your business.
Makes me paranoid.
And
He's gonna be
listen,
the one to out me at the theater.
I'm not a gnomist. Okay, I have some of my best friends are gnomes, so I have nothing against anyone who is from the gnome background. So just if our gnome listeners are,
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to listen to Gretchen Looks anymore. They're coming on hard on our people.
Coming on hard on the gnomes.
on the gnomes.
Go home, gnomes.
Oh, come on, these gnomes are our friends.
Well, so okay, so I grew up sneaking stuff into the movie theaters.
Me too.
You did too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is
Doesn't
common
everybody-
experience for me and Luke's. I don't know. Is it everybody?
Do rich people?
Let us
Rich
know. I
people
think-
don't go to the movies. They have their own home movie theater, and they get first run movies. That's what I'm told that rich people have.
Man, we got it. I would like to ask some very wealthy people, just out of curiosity, if they go to the movies. Well, here now I've got a reason to meet some.
Hello, you're rich.
wanna
Good.
know.
I have a question for you. A couple of questions. Are these gnome questions? No.
No. These are legit
These are human questions.
These are legit questions.
I'm
Y'all
just
sneaking candy.
y'all sticking candy in the movie.
Just a little.
Y'all steal
Milk
salt and
duds.
pepper shakers when you go out to eat. I'm just curious.
I'm gonna venture. Yes, possibly yes. 'Cause
That's why we're rich. We don't spend all our money on salt and pepper shakers. we get them from Shakey's Pizza.
it'll make me feel like because there's not there's the element that the snacks are way overpriced in a movie theater,
It's absolutely true.
but then there's also the thrill. Because like if you just take kleptomaniacs and people who shoplift, you've got the element of people who where it's about the money of it. So whether they need
Right.
the thing, where they're going to take it and sell it, whatever, it's about money.
If I've ever shoplifted, that's why I did it.
for the money.
Well, because it
Or
was
because of
it was because things were just I didn't want to pay for them.
And then there's the other element where it's more the thrill of it, of doing it, of just, can I get away with this? I'm totally not supposed to be doing this. I am doing this. And does anybody know I'm doing
Oh.
it? I'm standing here and everyone's looking at me like I'm not totally doing this right now. I have a greeting card in my pants, whatever.
And meanwhile, the security guy's up there going, "Should we let him go or should we grab him for the?" It looks like it's a bereavement card. Someone hit near him died. Yeah, let's arrest him.
She's holding one finger. I don't know.
Oh.
Crying. I don't know. Just let her go. It looks like this is not worth the effort.
That's so odd. Was it hers or is it someone else's?
know.
We don't know. We don't know. Oh, she looks so sad.
You know what they'll probably do is what they do nowadays, a little more sneaky move.
Can I buy this card and trade it for this ring? Oh, where'd you get the ring? Don't ask.
Don't ask.
I'm going to give you the finger. I mean, literally, I will give you the finger. I mean, I'm just going to hand it to you. Here you go.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, now they do, they just clock you and wait until you've stolen enough.
Right.
This is if you're paying with a card and you're doing like a half shoplift thing. And then they just show up at your house and stuff, literally with a warrant, and come get you.
Oh wow!
They would just come.
Do you think you got
get
away
ya.
with it?
What?
The shoplifting. You think you got away with the stealing, and then they come get you?
Because you do make it out of the store.
Right.
You do make it home. Days have gone by. You're like, I am so good at this, and then all of a sudden they come and they're like, all this paperwork,
And they got
video
video
evidence. They've
evidence.
got literally a case built against
Yeah.
you. It's so different. I am so glad I'm not in my early 20s, going or late teens, early 20s, my klepto phase. Let's just say, because the tech is so advanced. I had the benefit of the 80s or 90s tech of they would just take a Polaroid. They didn't.
Right,
The
it was
surveillance
easy.
systems weren't everywhere.
Do
and
you
I
know
got my
this
picture
person?
in a few stores, and I wasn't
And-
allowed to go
and
back in.
It's not like you can make a copy of a Polaroid. You'd have to like Xerox it or something, and then that's going to be slightly off.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't as freewheeling like back in the Wild West where you rob a bank and then it's just like
Good luck.
There's
Google
no
me.
communications. There's no, right? You can just, I always think about that, the freedom of the Wild West.
Well, but
I mean, I
don't
know it's
forget though,
horrible
when they did catch you,
also.
they hung you.
Yeah.
And typically they didn't. There wasn't a real big court case going down.
Yeah,
There was not
true.
nearly as many lawyers back then.
True. It was like,
Yeah.
we've asked 7 people. They've all identified you. You are that.
Do you
the
deny
gnome
this?
shooter?
I didn't
fastest
do it.
shooter
Well,
West.
too bad.
We all think you did. Yeah, I don't know which is worse, to be always surveilled
I don't know.
and have microaggressions, or just live. Well, I think. Wait, so we're okay with going in, sneaking stuff into the movies. We're
That's
saying we
fine.
both grew up that
I'm
way.
not okay with shoplifting. Even though I have done it.
Slippery slope.
And I've seen. Well, yeah, and I've seen people now in San Francisco and other big cities where there's just not enough manpower to catch these people, so they go in mass, and they in masks in mass.
Yes,
and they
yep.
just they smash jewelry
Yeah.
counters, and they just take stuff and watches and rings and anything else they can grab, necklaces, and then the insurance pays for it. So basically we all pay for it
Right.
with higher costs. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I never even really thought that much about the movie thing and bringing in snacks until I found myself having to or going to the movies with my kids the first time.
Oh yeah, when they want to buy
Well, then if I
sweet
want
tarts for $9.
or explaining why. I mean, it's got to be a little bit confusing, I think, to them, because then actually I remember
Oh.
once when when their Nana was visiting here in Dallas, and we are going to go to the movies, and we stop first at the Walgreens, even per
So they're
Nana's
like-
instruction, right? Because we all
Right.
we're gonna go to this. Is there a Walgreens near the movie theater? We had to
We're
plan it
gonna
out.
sneak
We're
in
gonna go to there
candy.
first. You go in with Nana. Nana's gonna buy all the candy and stuff. We're gonna put in her big purse and Mom's purse and all this, and it was interesting because I didn't really think about it until then. I was figuring out, how do I word the fact
That's
that
true.
there's a sign that says no outside food or drinks allowed.
Yeah, that's true. They do have a sign there, and a kid's looking at that, going, "Well, that says you're not allowed to do what we're doing. Why are we
Right.
doing that? You always tell me not to do the things that I'm not allowed to do, and now you're telling me to do the thing I'm not allowed to do. So why are we
It's
doing that,
so
Mom?"
what rules do we follow? What don't? And it was really
Yeah.
confusing. And you also should
You're
tell
like,
you
"Shut
this.
up, shut up, and just put it in your purse."
In my kids' background, we'd already had another similar moment when we first moved back to Dallas from Cleveland. They were pretty little. Our son was 2 and daughter was 5.
Right.
And so probably about within that first year, I was showing them all the little places around Dallas, right? It was kind of fun having my own little kids in the city that I was a kid in.
This is where you grew up.
Exactly. I grew up here in Dallas. So I took them to one of my favorite places, especially during high school, which was City Hall. Because number one, that's where you go to protest and voice your opinions. That's also where all the skater boys hung out.
Protest the skater boys. No, wait, no.
Never.
We're pro skater boys.
Pro skater boys.
Protest for the skater boys. We hell yeah, let them stay. Hell yeah, let them rail. Hell yeah, let them rail. Hell yeah.
And right in the front of City Hall here in Dallas, there is a huge, giant circle of water.
Oh, I've seen that one.
I guess it's a fountain.
I know this story.
It's
what
weird
you're
as a
talking. Yeah.
fountain, but I don't know. It's got a little thing in the middle. But or a reflecting. I don't know. It's a giant. I mean, it's a circle. I love a circle. It's water. It has
Yeah,
steps around it.
it's
It literally
cool.
looks like a wading pool.
It looks exactly
It's
like a wading
huge.
pool.
And so I used to get in that fountain anytime I could. And I definitely would be kicked out of that fountain many times.
By who?
The officers walking around. You're right there in front of City Hall,
so
so
they got
usually
security.
you're not in there that long.
So the rule
but
is
I
you
would
cannot
be trying
go
to
in
go in
that.
the middle of the night.
But
and-
you're not allowed in that. That's the rule?
I mean, that's what they say.
Okay.
But there's no big sign.
No, I've never seen a sign there.
I mean, and I can't. I don't know what
I've gone
it is
in there.
in this day and age, but there wasn't a sign there. So.
Yeah, I put my feet in there.
And I don't even think there
I
was.
didn't
when these
swim. It
kids
wasn't like
were
I went
here.
underwater. I just took my shoes off and put my feet in there to cool off.
Well, I remember so being with the kids and encouraging them that we're going to get in this fountain. Because I play in fountains. I just do. And I would take them to other fountains. And my daughter was hesitant. And my son, too. Just wondered, are we allowed to do this? They just really wanted to know, are we allowed to do this? You know, and inside, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how to get birds are such scaredy cats, but I didn't say that. I was like, okay, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm just going to expose them to just be more free in life. Like, they're so uptight, these kids.
Right. We're following rules. Why do they follow rules? Well,
Yeah,
I told
why are
them
they
to.
asking?
I told them to. That's why.
So take off their little shoes and stuff. I kick off my flip-flops because I'm always ready to kick off flip-flops and get in a fountain. It's
Sure.
like my thing. So then
It's my thing. Well, I've heard tell. Is that the
Flip.
fountain girl? Oh, yeah. That's her thing. Oh, that's her wheelhouse.
flip-flop fountain woman.
Yeah, she's ready to go.
I'll be in it.
How long does it take her to unlace her shoes? Oh, you don't know this woman.
She don't mess around with laces.
She don't mess around with laces.
No, she don't even need her hands to get those feet. They literally flip the flops off.
Oh, yeah.
What? Lickety split.
Flip-flop, girl. Look at this split.
Flickety flip.
Flippity flip.
flick. Floppity flick. So anyway, I finally, my kids, I'm like, it's okay. Well, we're gonna get it. We're just splashing. We're enjoying the fountain. We've done everything's fine, And so we all get in. We step into, it's up to like a little above your knee.
Your knee.
Yeah, my knee.
My shins.
They are. Maybe he thought I was drowning them. I don't know. But anyway, so at one point, a police officer comes over.
Oh, no.
And
The kids probably were devastated.
well, they definitely felt nervous.
Are you going to take us away from our mommy?
And then the officer came over, and I knew this wasn't. I was not afraid, really. I knew he was gonna instruct me to get out. Now I knew if I wanted to all of a sudden act crazy or something. I
I'm the
live in this
fountain girl.
fountain. I'm a mermaid. I'm gonna stand my ground. It's Texas. Poof, poof, poof. If you go crazy like that,
Right.
that's your own problem.
That is your own problem.
But so I knew he's gonna
Hey,
tell me to
listen,
get out.
Nothing against mermaids, but they get off. They're fast tempers. They'll snap. So
Not F around with the mermaid.
do not. They're sirens.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So anyway, came over and he said, ma'am, you're gonna need to get out of the fountain.
My kids too.
You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to get in that. It's not for swimming, whatever. It's fountain. And I just said, oh gosh, really? Oh wow, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that. I said I just moved here from Cleveland, and we get in fountains all the time.
You should have
so
said, kids,
good
we're gonna have to
know."
pee somewhere else. Come on.
Oh, that would have been so much
Hop
better.
on out. Did you? Oh, you already went. Never mind. Just come on out anyways.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
Ugh.
So much better. But anyway, so then it was no big deal. It was fine. But the kids still were like, that was so scary, Mama. That cop came over to us,
yeah.
Wow, why we asked you, are we supposed to? And I just said, everything is okay. They were literally letting us know there was a rule that we had broken.
Is this white privilege I'm hearing?
Oh, I mean, definitely white privilege.
Do you
Although
think
with
they
that
would've-
specific thing, I think they would have been cool with anyone who would have quickly complied and gotten out.
What about
I
a
think they would
homeless
be
person
fair.
of color who is taking a bath?
I think that they would order them to get out, tell them to get out.
Just like they did for you. Mm-hmm. Would they arrest them?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not worth the
No,
hassle.
I think they would tell them to get out.
The homeless person's probably like, yeah, arrest me and take me to jail where there's a shower.
Yeah, right? I mean, that happens. Like, one time with our kids at a McDonald's right here in the neighborhood, again, within the kind of that first year of moving here, year or two of moving here, the kids are playing in the play place, and I'm sitting at the tables by the play place.
This is a McDonald's?
At McDonald's. And my daughter runs out, and she's like, Mom, like, there's a man sleeping in the playhouse. There's a man sleeping in the tunnels.
Yep. In the tunnels.
And I'm like, okay. And I go and I climb, kind of climb in there a little bit to like look and see, because I'm like,
you're
where?
so tiny.
There's a guy. Where's the guy?
I could never do that.
And she shows me where. I kind of get in there and I look, and I see feet hanging out, very dirty tennis shoes and socks.
Oh, no.
Male, as a grown dude's feet, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you told me. And then, first I'm like, did he say anything to you? Did he touch you?
Right.
Have you been molested? Well, I am trying to be on it. And then,
meanwhile, the guy's like,
he was sound asleep. So then, first I attempted to wake him up, just to say like, hey, yo, you can't be here.
he was like, piss off, Karen.
You're right.
You're the boss of me.
You're not in charge of this tunnel, which was a fair point. So I went to the manager.
You get the troll. Get the troll who's in charge of this tunnel.
So I did, and
You
tell
went,
the manager,
I tell you what, mister.
there's a man up
You
in
don't
the
want the
thing,
troll coming out.
worse than a mermaid.
They are. Not quite as bad as a gnome, but worse than a mermaid.
And so the manager comes and is shouting up to him, telling him to come down. He's just not saying. He's like, at this point, he's sitting up, but he's just like not saying anything. He's just not saying anything. So then the manager is talking to another manager, and then they're like, "We're gonna have to go. We're just gonna have to call the. We're gonna call the police.
Oh,
we're gonna call the
man.
police. We can call the police." And so then I go up in the tunnel a little more just to tell him, "Hey, heads up, they're calling the police. So if you don't want to deal with the police, you should probably get out. If you do want to deal with the police, your ride is on its way. If you're wanting to get locked up for
Right.
the night, which sometimes, if you're out on the street,
Are you
what do
saying all this
care?
to him, by the way? And I know that sometimes if you're on the street, sometimes that's the best option for you because there's 3 hots in the cot. I know all that about, but if that's not what you want to do, then I suggest this is the time to do it. But I get that. I've read all about you people. I know it. I know what's going on.
Yeah, I did not say all that.
Then no suicide by cop. I've heard about that too. Is that what you're doing? If that's what you're not in front of my kids, do that on your own. Anyway, but mermaids and cops are on the way, and the gnomes are going to cover the whole thing in the gnome paper. So, what am I crazy? No, you're the one sleeping in the tunnel. I'm not the crazy one. Okay, ask the gnomes.
Somehow at the end of it, I'm the one arrested. I'm in cuffs
No,
somehow.
I was talking. The gnomes are a metaphor. The gnomes are a metaphor.
Anyway, we leave. We're obviously they're not going to keep going and playing in there. We're not going to disturb this guy's sleep. We're just we're going to go about it. So we leave. But anyway, the kids were like, asking. That was weird. That was scary.
Right.
And why wouldn't he get out? And then I was trying to explain way too big picture things about society and homeless and what we have and things and legal and all that.
But aren't there a bunch of empty homes in the world, Mom? Well, yeah, there are. But why can't they use them? Well, they can, and then they sit in there, and then the cops have to come. Never mind. Jesus.
And so by the time we
Just
are
eat your McDonald's. Eat your Big Mac.
rolling up to Walgreens with their Nana to pick out candy for the movies, they can read. So then, by then, they have this other background too of, Mom said the fountain was okay. That kind of wasn't okay. One time I wanted them to walk through like an abandoned house. It wasn't an abandoned house. It was a house under construction.
Right.
But so you could see it was pretty interesting because you can see walls before the sheetrock's up. You can see how the plumbing works.
That's kind of dangerous, though. Some things could
That is
fall.
what the guy who was watching the site told me when he came out and asked me and my son to get out of the house so the kids don't they're a little gun shy.
So now
when
they're
Mom
like,
goes,
Mom's
"It's
a
okay
liar,
to do
and
this."
she does adventurous things that are dangerous.
They're not allowed. I don't think these things are allowed.
Mom's a lawbreaker.
People keep coming up.
I don't want people to come up, and they're always in uniform. Do you like cops? I hate cops. They keep us out of the.
But then at the movies, all I could really say was, this is a policy. It's not a law. So if we're wrong this time, or if we get caught this time with this candy, we'll be asked to, it'll be like the fountain.
We hated
right?
that. We hated
but
that.
less.
Do we have to take our shoes off here too? Wait a minute, I'm confused.
I just
Can we
said, shut
crack
up and blame it on your Nana. She can take the heat.
My mom wouldn't care. She'd just be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Then don't charge $9 for sweet tart." That's what I said, Mom. I know. You heard it from me.
I'm not going to follow your rule if it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
That's just crazy.
Well, that's hard. That's a tough thing with kids because you want them to follow the rules. That's the whole point of having them grow up. But then you want them to question the rules at a certain point because some rules are dumb. And but yet most rules are there for a reason, and if you want to belong to a team of any sort, they have rules. That's what I learned one time. One of the rules at the Second City when I was working there in Vegas was when you go to check in, you had to sign your initials on a sheet, and everyone did that in order to. And I was like, "This is stupid."
Your call sheet?
It was a call sheet, yes.
Okay, I'm familiar with that. Pretty standard.
And it's very standard for every
Pretty
theater.
expected.
And I was a stand-up comedian, so I wasn't really familiar with the call sheet check-in bull crap where they're keeping track of me. I'm here every night. I live like 2 minutes away. Well, you think I'm going to be late? I'm going to do the show. I'm here, and I didn't realize that was just that was a rule. And so what I did is I stabbed the cork board with my pencil because I was angry one night, and they asked me not to do that anymore, and they gave me a crayon from that point on.
Did they?
To use.
How did you think they were going to know you were there?
Exactly.
Because if you've shown up, you're like, well, I knew I was here.
You can't miss me.
How did you not
Look
know
how big
I was
I am.
here? I knew I wasn't running late today.
Did you not hear me? I'm loud and I talk a lot. That's how. Of course, like looking back on it, the rule was there for a reason. The rule was there to organize our show. If you don't have that, you don't know who's there and who's not there. And if you need to replace them at the last second, people get sick. Things come up, and
most accidents happen within 5 miles of the house.
Exactly.
So even though you live 2 minutes away, how's the stage manager going to know you're there unless it literally goes, "Oh, he signed in tonight. He's here."
So it really came down to the fact that I was a dick.
So
that's what we decided after that. So I apologized to everybody, and I signed in from that point on. And I realized, oh, you're part of a theater troupe, dude. Act accordingly. Be a professional. So there are some rules that are good that are there for a purpose, and you got to follow them even if you don't want to. Is my point.
Yeah. Like, I mean. And then I guess where I'm landed at this point is it's a case-by-case thing, kids. That's what I said to my kids. Like, you're not just, you can't just blindly follow all rules. Please. But
however,
some of them make good sense. I feel like I tell them that they have to run the rules through their own minds and think about why is the rule there? What does it serve? Does it protect or benefit?
Does it break the Constitution? There's some First Amendment auditors that go to the post office and they tell them they're not allowed to film, and they say, "Well, I am allowed to film. I'm part of the journalist popular or populace, and if the First Amendment says we have a right to do that, and that's why they're there is to see if they're going to enforce a policy." He's like, "Are you a policy enforcer or a law enforcer?" Is the big thing they keep
because that's
saying.
the big delineation, right?
It is a big one, yeah.
In terms of, are you breaking a law or is
your
this
policy,
just the guideline?
They keep saying,
are you allowed to break policies?
Well, they say your policy doesn't trump the Constitution.
Right.
And you swore to uphold the Constitution. So that's the big argument that these First Amendment auditors have with these guys who have a power trip, because they said, I want your ID. Well, I didn't commit a crime. Yes, you did. You're under suspicion. Oh, is suspicion a misdemeanor or a felony? And they're like, oh, you're one of those guys. One of what guys? Someone who knows their rights?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them. They don't like that. People in power don't want us to understand what we are allowed to do and not do.
No. And I guess that's a way that people can just... It's like their legal way that they can go and just really, the auditors.
Yeah.
Get out probably their own aggression, frustration with the system, with people that power trip.
Well, that's what they're there for. I mean,
because they're just doing it.
They're kind of
because
annoying.
They can.
They're annoying because they are taking films in places, and some people don't like to be filmed in public. But it's like you have no expectation of privacy in public. These guys are there to enforce our rights, and if you break those rights, then it's a slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
It's always a slippery slope.
It really is. Everything's a gateway and a slippery slope.
That's why when you go barefoot so often, I'm wondering, that's still dangerous, Gretchen. There's so many slippery slopes out there. Be careful.
I know, Luke's. But then again, if ever you're not barefoot, I get so worried because I'm like, are you getting enough energy from the earth? Are you doing your grounding?
true.
It's also dangerous to always have shoes on.
That's
It's hard
true.
to know what to do.
Well, if you had anywhere within like 3 to 5 feet of me with my shoes are off, I think you would recommend that I put them back on.
Oh, for the public safety.
All for your and for yours.
And for mine. I consider myself a member of the public.
This is what you'd sound like near my feet. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? Thanks for the conversation.
What a conversation.
That was all right.
Yeah, thank you.
Want to do it again?
Yep.
All right.
Bye.